Hey guys, hope everyone's well. Me again. Hope, as I often say, I hope someone out there will enjoy this video. Try and make it as fun as possible. I often say that I love it if even people who don't really like football or even hate football would be interested in my videos about football. I hope my voice isn't too boring or whatnot, but and I hope, as I say, I hope I can somehow make it interesting or entertain people out there, and try, as I say, it's about football, so I try and make it as fun as possible. And I can't think what else to say for the intro, but anyway, I suppose I could mention about, like, I might have mentioned this before in some of my other videos, but it's quite a dilemma because I'm an anti-imperialist in many ways. Well, I'm an anti-imperialist, and yeah, I supported Italian football, but that's because I supported it for so long, and there are still some things I like about Italian football. I was thinking about making a list of 30 reasons to love Italian football or something like that. I'm not sure what the exact title will be, but yeah, reasons to support Italian football or something like that, and maybe try and think of as many as I can. I don't know if I can think of 30, but I think like it's quite colourful and vibrant, and got some cool names of teams, got a great history and things like that. But anyway, I don't want this list to be too long as ever, so I'm going to try and crack on with it. Anyway, here goes. So point number 11, I hope to ask people their views on Italian football, like what they change about Italian football or what they think could make it better, and things like that. Look at some changes like what make it more attacking and things like that. I think the national team's gone more attacking, so I'm sure, as from what I'm aware, like scoring quite a few goals, scoring freely, but so to speak, although it is against lower, not so great opposition, politely, but it is playing more attacking than it used to play, with much more defensive football. But I think it's going a bit more attack minded now. So yeah, I'd love to hear what people think. What would you change about Italian football? That's a comment you could make, perhaps. 12, I hope to look at like make Italian football proud again, or make Italian football great again, and things like that. Look at the history of Italian football, make Italian clubs be proud of their teams. I know there was a problem with what was called the Calciopoli scandal. I can't actually speak much Italian, but it's just because I think I look Italian as I say that I support them. But the Calciopoli scandal, where there was known to be max fixing and stuff like that, unfortunately. So, but I think it'd be great if I was thinking if FIFA could hold centres in Italy. I suppose people who don't like Italian football or see it as negative or corrupt or whatever, perhaps wouldn't think so much of this idea, or they might think it's well, I don't know if it's a silly idea or not, but I suppose it would have to be properly enforced, but where there could be anti-corruption centres, anti-corruption football centres. So I was thinking, like, if I could root corruption out of the sport I love, which is football, and out of the teams I love, or team I love, which is Italian in this case, the club teams, like, so they actually work against corruption, which would be quite ironic given the history. But yeah, make the club proud and show that we're going to win, hopefully within the rules of the game, and the proud defence, but also look at being more attacking as well, and encourage each other to play football. Maybe unite Italy together by football. I've often thought like people could wear the Italian team, like, could be used as a uniform perhaps around the country. Maybe that's another quirky idea of mine, but it could be used as a uniform around the country, so it like unites the people together and things like that. 13, I have lots of fears about like whether my ideas can be implemented, or whether Italian football really will be improved, or whether there'll always be hooliganism or racism or prejudice or things like that in Italy, and including in football. As I often say, 13 is the number I see as unlucky, so I'm using that as. So I don't really know what to include for 13, but anyway, 14, I hope to Italians to have lots of as many practice matches as possible, maybe like fundraising games and all sorts of things to solve problems like global warming, and Italian clubs to raise funds for like Greenpeace in Italy, animal rights, and all sorts of things like that through football. 15, I hope that Italian clubs can perhaps work together to look at how, as I say, they can market Italian football and make it better. make the league proud. Like a lot of Italian clubs are quite divided, and I suppose every league has its competition, so they might say you've got to compete with each other. But I was thinking, like an Arsenal fan, for those who follow football, when Arsenal played AC Milan, someone was saying, since AC Milan were one of the top teams back then or were doing well in Italy and going on a winning streak, they said the Italian league must be poor. So I think it shows for the Italian clubs for the fans who don't get on well with each other, like Juventus fans who don't like other fans of Italian clubs, or Milan fans who don't like other clubs in Italy. Like especially when those clubs are playing teams from outside of Italy, they really represent Italy. So it's like if an Italian team won the Champions League or the Europa League, or the Italian national team did well, then it would show that the clubs in the league are good as well. So it will make hopefully all Italian teams look at least a little bit better. So I think it should be a shared interest, in my opinion. So I think Italian clubs should support each other when they're playing non-Italian teams, as saying in international competitions, including in Europe or elsewhere, and they represent Italy together. And so when whichever teams are playing in the Champions League, I love it if other Italian teams, clubs, and all that, fans of those clubs also supported that team. Like, say if Inter Milan was in the Champions League final, I think all the other Italian teams, even if they don't get on well in the league or they compete with each other, they can be rooting for the team that's representing Italy. So I love it to be more united. And maybe like on the 17th of March, which is Italy's Unification Day, they can unite. They can have football matches which help to unite the country through football, including different clubs and regions, and even the migrants as well. 16. On that note, like I'd love it if migrants were welcomed into the country through football, which I think in some cases has happened, but also like which Roma have done as well. And kudos to Roma for that. And I think it'd be great if different migrants could play against Serie A youth and help each other to practice. And maybe many of those migrants could become players for big teams like AC Milan, Inter Milan, Juventus, and other Italian clubs. 17. I hope for people to come up with ideas about how to improve Italian football and improve the reputation around the world and things like that. 18. I hope for people to accentuate all the positives, like show all the positives. Accentuate is a big word for me. I think it means like kind of show or express or whatever, or make known or whatever, the positives about Italian football and the league. Sorry, about Italian football generally, and like look at all the trophies I won, and also the colour and the passion, the vibrancy, the colourful kits, the names of the teams, which I think are quite cool. I don't know if everyone will agree with me on that, but like AC Milan, Inter Milan, Juventus, I think they were quite cool names, Lazio, and teams like that. Look at positives of Italian football and be ambassadors for the game, for Italian football, for Serie A and all that. 19. I personally subscribe to and support all the Italian teams as much as possible, as many as possible, like Serie A and Serie B and even Serie C or whatever. Subscribe to their channels, click the bell notification and all that, and try and like their videos as much as I can, things like that. So I hope other people will too. I say I love it, Anglo-Indians especially, to be fans of Italian football, and also Indians generally, people from China and America and big countries like that with huge populations, and also across Africa and Asia, where there are huge populations but also growing populations, and improving relations through football and things like that. And 20, I hope to hear from what people think about Italian football. As I say, what could Italian football do to improve, weaknesses and strengths. Just for the sake of it, I've even thought about videos about what's negative about Italian football, but just to give the other side of the coin. But anyway, as I say, that's quirky even by my standards, I keep saying. But anyway, I hope someone out there loved this video, or at least liked this video. If so, please share it and give as much support as possible to the channel. Appreciate it. Peace and love.